right, Miss Stacy here. Today we're going to be doing tie-dye t-shirts using the color wheel. Um, you've made a color wheel and you know about the primary colors of red, yellow, and blue, and how to make your secondary colors of green, violet, and orange, as well as your tertiary colors. Now we're going to apply everything we know about the color wheel to tie-dye. We're only going to be using 3 colors, the same 3 colors we used with the color wheel, the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. You're going to be using Ritz dye. So you're going to take your bottle of Ritz, shake it up. You're going to put some warm water in your condiment container. If you don't have condiment containers, you could use empty water bottles and just put a hole in the lid to make it squeezable. So if you're doing this at home and you don't have condiment bottles, you could do that. So I have filled up my water bottle almost to the top with hot water, and shake up your dye really well. You're going to open it and it should have a little lid, and just pour a little into your bottle. Now you're going to need red, but you're also going to need purple, violet. And if you remember on the color wheel, whenever you're making violet, you add the strong color to the weak color. So you're going to add blue to red. So all we're going to do is we're going to make 2 things of red. This one maybe not quite as dark of a red. Put your lids back on them and shake them up really well. Now the one that's going to be left red, we'll just leave it like this. But the one that we want to be violet, we're going to add some blue to it. I've already got my blue mixed up here in another bottle. And I'm just adding the blue to my red because blue and red make violet. Here, it's just like a spare piece of cloth that I'm using to test my colors. I already tested my yellow and my blue. So I'm just going to test my violet and see what kind of violet I have here. And it's kind of like a red violet. So what did we do when we made our color wheel and it was too red? We added more blue. So I'm going to open it back up. And actually I think I'm going to pour out a little bit of this red. And I'll add a little bit more blue. Now you'll be adding your blue directly from your Ritz container, like this. The Walmart today didn't have any, so I'm gonna test it again. And it's a little more violet now. I'd still like it to be even more violet, so I'm gonna add a little bit more.
You just didn't want to be purple.
I want it to be really violet, not a red violet. Yes. All right. So now I have my red and my violet, my blue. I've got my yellow. And now I need green and orange. Now these are both yellow. Again, how do we make green? We add blue to the yellow. So I think it's important that your students see this as well. Let them see you add blue to the yellow dye, so they see you getting the green. Shake it up real well, and let's see what kind of green we got. Okay, if I want it to be a little brighter green, I'm going to add a little bit more blue. So it'll be a little brighter green.
No, the lid's still on its.
All right. Okay, that's going to be green enough for me right now. And the last color I need to make is my orange. So I'm going to take my yellow and open it up. And directly from my Ritz dye, and this is what you'll be doing, just add a little red to it. And this should make red and yellow make orange. So there I have kind of a reddish orange. Maybe I added too much.
Yeah, I think you had a little too much red.
Well. Well, that's gonna have to do for my. So now we've got all of our colors mixed. We've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. So we have them in the order of the color wheel. And we're ready to get started with our shirts. Now, before you start tie-dyeing the shirts, you're gonna wanna use rubber bands to band them off, but you're also gonna wanna wet your t-shirts. You're gonna wanna start with a wet t-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, so all you're gonna do is wet your t-shirt. I took off my rubber gloves because they had dye all over it and I didn't want to get it on here. After you do that, wring it out. So for the spiral, you just lay your shirt out. And in the center of it, pinch it and pull. And you're trying to have the front and the back, not just the front, but the whole thing, front and the back. And you're gonna pull and twist. Pull and twist. Pull and twist. Like a spiral. And that's why we're calling it a spiral. And just turning it into a spiral. Now, take your rubber band and we're going to do one down the middle. And what we want, I want 6 areas because as we said before, there are 3 primary colors and 3 secondary colors. So that's 6. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to use actually 3 rubber bands on here. All right. Try to get them evenly spaced as you can. So in any place, start with your red. Ooh. Do the front in red. And then flip it over and do the back in red. And yes, let it go across the rubber band a little bit. They're gonna go, oh, I got out of the line. Well, good.
Okay.
Now we're gonna do orange on either side of the red. Do it on the front and do it on the back. And yes, let it go over the rubber band a little bit because where the red and the orange meet, we'll have red orange. Should.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And where the yellow and the orange meets,
the white gives it more of a different.
we'll have yellow orange. So I'm going to purposefully go over this orange a little bit right there with some yellow to try to make that yellow orange. And the same thing on the back. I'm going to go over that line. And after the yellow comes green. And where the yellow and the green meet, we'll have yellow-green. We'll have those tertiary colors, tertiary, intermediate colors. Yes, I'm making a very big mess on my table. It'd be wonderful if you had some extra newspaper or paper towels to pick that up, because I don't want that yellow to get in my blue. Okay, after the green does come blue. You can let it go over that line a little bit. And then I'm going to try to cover up all that. My last color is purple. And where the red came over it, that's going to make red violet. So basically what we're doing is a color wheel on cloth with dye. It's going to be a color wheel they could wear. I'm going over that a little bit with my blue where the two met. I'm going to go over my green a little bit with the two. Now, you have your tie-dye shirt ready for the next step. You can push. Okay, so the next step is to take your shirt with the rubber band still on it and put it in either a Ziploc bag or a Walmart bag and tie it. Now you could do one of two things. You could leave this for a few hours or overnight and then take it out and rinse it. So the longer you leave it, the brighter your colors will stay. The other thing you could do is you could take it and put it in the microwave for 5 minutes, and then you're ready to go. Okay. All right, so I have my bag in a bowl, and I'm putting it in the microwave and setting it for 5 minutes. And start. Make sure you put it in a bowl so it doesn't get all in your microwave. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this out. I'm gonna get cold water going. Very hot. Hot, hot, hot. And rinse. It's important to rinse them one at a time. That way, if you try to rinse a whole lot of them, your dye will bleed from one shirt to the other, and you won't get as bright of colors. Your whites won't be as white. So let's just try to rinse them one at a time. And then you could either throw them in your dryer to dry or hang them on a line to dry. Just rinse until the water is clear. Can you see the water clear as I rinse through? There's no color coming out of it. It's still, the water is clear. So I know that I'm done. Turn my water off. Bring it out. And take a look. You can see where the colors go in a kind of a spiral, and they go along the color wheel. orange turns to red, and then the red turns to purple and blue, and then green, and back to yellow again. So we have the color spectrum on your t-shirt.